Thomas Sowell's work, Marxism, Philosophy and Economics, emerges as a timely and intellectually stimulating contribution to the discourse surrounding global ideological conflicts and economic disparities. With impeccable academic credentials earned from prestigious institutions such as Harvard, Columbia, and the University of Chicago, Sowell is renowned for his insightful analyses of complex societal issues, as evidenced in previous works like Race and Economics, 1975, and Ethnic America, 1981. His opposition to forced school busing, affirmative action, and racial quotas reflects a nuanced understanding of the socio-economic dynamics at play, highlighting the importance of acquiring human capital for success in any economically efficient society. In his latest endeavor, Sowell extends his critique beyond domestic concerns to offer a global perspective on the intersection of economics and philosophy, particularly in relation to Karl Marx's theories. Drawing on his long-standing interest in Marx dating back to his undergraduate honors thesis, Sowell asserts that Marx's contribution to economics is negligible, characterizing it as virtually zero or a detour into a blind alley. Sowell identifies Marx's fundamental error as his assertion that surplus value in capitalist societies is exclusively derived from the exploitation of laborers, contending that this overlooks the crucial contributions of managers, entrepreneurs, scientists, and skilled workers in generating surplus value. According to Sowell, the production of surplus value is not solely contingent upon physical labor, but is equally reliant on the accumulation of human capital possessed by individuals across various sectors of society. In advanced economies, managers, entrepreneurs, and skilled workers play pivotal roles in driving innovation, productivity, and economic growth. Sowell's conceptualization of human capital encompasses the skills, knowledge, and expertise that enable individuals to contribute to the creation of physical capital, including goods, machinery, and infrastructure. By challenging Marx's labor-centric view of surplus value, Sowell sheds light on the multifaceted nature of economic production and the diverse contributions of different actors within capitalist societies. He argues that Marx's emphasis on exploitation overlooks the agency and creativity of individuals engaged in managerial, entrepreneurial, and scientific endeavors. Moreover, Sowell contends that Marx's analysis fails to account for the dynamic interplay between human and physical capital, which are both essential for sustained economic development. Throughout the book, Sowell provides rigorous analysis and empirical evidence to support his arguments, drawing on insights from economics, sociology, and history. He demonstrates how Marxist theories have been debunked by empirical research and real-world experiences, particularly in the context of market economies where innovation and entrepreneurship are driving forces of economic progress. By situating his critique within a broader global context, Sowell invites readers to reconsider the relevance of Marxist ideology in contemporary debates surrounding economic policy and social justice. Sowell argues that Marx's underestimation of the role of managerial and entrepreneurial skills led to economic disasters in communist experiments in countries like Russia and China. He contends that Marx's assumption that economic management would occur naturally under communism was refuted by the early history of the Soviet Union, where widespread hunger and vital service disruptions forced Lenin to resort to capitalist practices with his new economic policy, NEP. However, Stalin's subsequent nationalization of industry and collectivization of farms resulted in the destruction of human capital and economic inefficiency. Sowell highlights the creation of a new class of Soviet managers, the nomenklatura, who lacked the necessary managerial skills and relied on incentives to perform their duties. Despite their privileged status, these managers failed to drive innovation and economic growth, contributing to the decline of the Soviet economy. Sowell suggests that Gorbachev's reforms, akin to Lenin's NEP, were necessary to revitalize the Soviet economy, and proved that he was more of a Leninist than a Stalinist or Marxist. In contrast to those who accuse Lenin and other communist leaders of betraying Marx, Sowell places the blame on Marx himself for making false assumptions about economic management under communism. He criticizes Marx's doctrine of historical justification of violence, arguing that it provided a pretext for egregious human rights abuses by communist regimes. Sowell emphasizes the instrumental role of Marxism in acquiring and maintaining political power, noting its appeal to demagogues seeking to consolidate authority. Moreover, Sowell argues that non-communist followers of Marx have also faced challenges in economic development due to their neglect of human capital. Large transfers of physical capital to third world countries through nationalization and Sowell's analysis underscores the importance of human capital in economic development and challenges Marx's assumption that possession of capital guarantees its growth. Sowell cautions against overlooking the significance of cultural capital in shaping economic outcomes, emphasizing that human capital extends beyond narrowly defined skills. While technical skills can be acquired relatively quickly, deeply ingrained cultural habits and attitudes toward work and life, such as punctuality, perseverance, and attention to detail, are not easily taught and can persist for generations. Sowell cites examples of cultural groups like the Japanese, Germans, Jews, and Chinese, whose cultural attributes have contributed significantly to their economic success, barring interference from hostile political decisions. Expanding on Sowell's observations, one can add to the list groups like the American Puritans, Armenians, Lebanese Arabs, and African Ibos, demonstrating that cultural advantages are not confined to specific racial or religious categories. Instead, they are accessible to any group willing to adopt diligent and enterprising cultural norms. Sowell argues that the enduring gap between prosperous and impoverished nations cannot be fully explained by Marx's theory of capitalism or Lenin's doctrine of imperialism. Instead, he attributes this gap primarily to long-standing cultural disparities among nations and groups. While acknowledging the importance of other factors such as demographics and oppressive institutions, Sowell underscores the need to recognize the cultural factor, which has often been overlooked in discussions about economic inequality.